Hi, Steve. It's really good to see you. I'd like to ask you a little bit about yourself and your company first.
Founder of Teach Different.
Hmm.
We were founded in 2017, and I'm a career educator who came up with a method for real-time communication and conversations in my classroom when I was teaching a US history class and another history class.
Hmm.
And basically, it's a method for conversations that gave rise to Teach Different. And we now train teachers and parents in how to have better conversations with young people because of this. So I'm an educator, and our company is really devoted to education, but more so improving conversations everywhere.
That's good. So, uh, kind of, what was it like? What was Teach Different and your day-to-day like before you started working with us?
Well, before I started with Archer Media,
Yeah.
it was because we're still young
Hmm.
and we're um, developing a lot of ideas that are finally coming to fruition. We found ourselves spending a lot of energies in different areas, which was hard to manage at times because you really need to do something well. You
Hmm.
need to have it be done and all the details figured out, and you need carry through and follow through. So that's what it was like before Archer Media. And then when I connected with Archer Media, had a very good conversation with you about what we could specifically do and how Archer Media could help with that, so that a lot of the detail and the follow through could be handled by Archer Media, and I could focus on the things that we do well to make a project successful and happen. And that was the original genesis of why we started working together and why I appreciated the value proposition that you brought.
So, what was sort of your major pain points before you started working with us? What took up your mind?
Having follow through
Hmm.
and be able to, it's one thing to have an idea, but you need follow through in it with
Right.
a lot of other energies and ideas that need to be addressed as well in the company. You know,
Mhm.
I'm an entrepreneur founder, so I have lots of things that are always in my mind.
Mhm.
This is really what the state of Teach Different was at before we came to Archer Media. We have a lot of ideas we want to pursue,
Mhm.
but we know we're only able to pursue certain ideas at certain times, and we have to let other ones go.
So it was more about the clarity around what to do with the product.
Clarity and follow through.
Mhm.
It's one thing to have a clear idea, and it's another thing to know what you're going to do to put it into action. So it was both of those things that were necessary.
Okay. And what was like your day-to-day feeling about your business before you started working with us?
Making progress,
Mhm.
spending energies, generating revenue, and bringing resources into the company,
Mhm.
some of which take longer than others with the cycles.
Mhm.
So it's really just a priority question of how to spend time doing what.
Okay.
That was the world of Teach Different.
Mhm. Okay. And so you started in 2017 up to, let's say, the first six-ish years, 2023, for example. Um, would you like to share some of the external like figures, how much money was made, etc.?
Sure. Yeah. Very, very straightforward. We've trained over 2,600 teachers
Mhm.
in the method over our history.
Mm-hmm.
primarily from workshops. We gave dozens of workshops at conferences and free workshops to get it out there and get feedback on whether this method we developed was being accepted by teachers.
Right.
And we were very happy that over in our surveys, over 90% of people who've gone through our workshops say that they're confident or extremely confident that they can actually use this method to
Mm.
have better conversations in their classroom. So that's been very successful. Our first 6 years, now, granted, this spanned the pandemic, if
Yeah.
you'll remember. The 2017, the pandemic hit in 2020. We completely went off the workshop model
Mm-hmm.
and went online with virtual trainings. And so there was a huge transition there as well. But let me get to some revenue numbers. Our first 6 years of existence, we only generated about $50,000 total in
Okay.
revenue in the first 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And just this year, we've had about $300,000 this year.
Okay.
We received a state grant through the state of Illinois to support mental health,
Mm-hmm.
and so we just kind of turned the corner
Right.
with our revenue model,
Mm-hmm.
and we hope that we know that 2025 is also going to be big. We have almost $2 million in projects that
Mm-hmm.
we've articulated and laid out that we're trying to fund.
Yeah. And that's great. So that's a lot of progress in a very little time. And this is also that's the majorly the Illinois project. There's also one in Folsom that you're looking at another, let's say, 150,000 coming in, and we have another like 1.5 months on that. So a big thing that I'd like to ask you is, obviously, before we started working, there will be some skepticism in your mind. Would this work? Would this not? Did you have that? What were your feelings like?
A little bit of skepticism. I
Mhm.
benefited from already working with a company
Mhm.
that had managed my LinkedIn account
Mhm.
and my communication with
Mhm.
other people to organize business roundtables for 18 months on LinkedIn. So I was familiar with the model
Mhm.
that was being suggested by Archer Media,
Mhm.
which is, hey, we could help you do communication and outreach.
Mhm.
And we have a way of doing that. I had already been used to thinking that way, and that wasn't a a downside to me. It was something that I was ready to do. The communication that I had with you, with Archer Media, was a big part of why I decided to work with Archer Media. It's really what I'm looking for is someone who understands where we are and can work with where we are and
Mhm.
who we are and can see potential in what we're doing and believe in what we're doing. And the minute I get that, if I feel comfortable with that, there aren't downsides. I don't have skepticism. I'm ready to pull the trigger and go and try something.
So, so you worked with an agency before on one part of your business. What would you say was the big difference that you saw working with like an agency versus working with the Archer Media?
Uh, there's always a communication
Mhm.
with the Archer Media personnel, communication with you.
Mhm.
I didn't have constant communication with the the other group that I worked with, which was okay because it actually did work.
Mhm.
And I actually was happy that they set up the roundtables for me on LinkedIn, and I was able to participate in them, and I facilitated in them, and it worked. when I was able to talk directly with Archer Media and I was reassured that we were going to connect at different points throughout the process, that's what really gave me the confidence
Mm-hmm.
because I was already familiar with the idea of someone communicating on my behalf in my accounts,
Mm-hmm.
and that worked out okay. So that was it. That's what reassured me. It was that connection. And it doesn't have to be every day, but you showed an interest in my company's success over and beyond just the specific project we were working with and the details of it.
Yeah.
And you seem to be someone that I could go to, make a tweak to our idea and try different things. So that's important.
Yeah. So communication was a big thing. Um,
Yeah.
of course, what we try to do is not just work as like an agency where we're doing a specific project. We like to partner with the companies that we work with and get them results no matter what. The deliverables can change. The goal is the same. And so, did you feel that level of partnership? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I did. I did. And I shared it with the other founder of Teach Different, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And we own 100% of Teach Different. And when I told him that Archer Media was ready to commit to raising a certain amount of money, come hell or high water, however it can happen,
Mm-hmm.
it became a no-brainer, because if someone's ready to work with us to achieve a goal, a revenue goal, because that's where we are developmentally, we're ready to. That's not even a risk to us.
Right,
That's just an opportunity for us to take advantage of.
right. And so, do you feel it's different than working with an agency? And in the future, now that you work with us, what do you think about like working with us versus like agencies?
Oh, I would definitely prefer to work with you. I would prefer to work
Why
with
is
you.
that?
I'm sorry.
Why is that?
Uh, because I want partners. I
Hmm.
don't want contractors.
Hmm. That's okay.
If there are people that I work well with, I'm willing to consider any type of mutually beneficial arrangements
Hmm.
where we can, make money together, we can change the world together, we can address problems together in society. And I want people to care about this as much as I do. I know it's not realistic per se, but I think that the more I think of the person as a partner, the more possible it is to get people really to feel motivated and empowered. Those are the only people I want to work with. I don't want someone just doing a job for me.
Hmm. And you talked about yourself and your brother. Obviously, business is not just about one person. There's many stakeholders. So how was the experience for not just you and your brother, but also all the other people who are involved in these projects in California, etc.?
So far, so good. It's been very positive. I mean, I have two people in California that are ready to play important roles,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to keep communicating with them when
Mm-hmm.
I reach out to people that you have connected me to, just in case they know them. And it's already happened where it's a fairly small city. So it's been very, I have very motivated people. And the challenge, of course, in doing these projects is they have full-time jobs.
Yeah,
So they need to feel part of the project, but they can't feel overwhelmed. And that's a balance that I'm learning how to strike as well. But they're very, very motivated and they're happy with the reaching out that we've done.
right. And have you, with all the work and all the reach out to these people, have you have we helped you reach out to someone you wouldn't even have thought possible, someone really big in
Yeah.
the
Yes. We've already made inroads. An example would be a person that Archer Media contacted who connected with me. We had a phone call. He connected me with the president of the Rotary Association in Folsom, in the city that we're doing the project. And I had a phone call with him, and he's presenting our project at their board meeting, later this week.
Okay. So
That is an immediate benefit to this project, to our recognition in the area,
mhm.
and that's an immediate benefit. And that happened around the holidays, right when we started.
Yeah,
So I'm looking forward to making more connections like that.
that's pretty good. So you can now actually take that one connection and create like a nationwide strategy with that.
Potentially, yeah. I mean that's what's exciting about that.
And did you think that was possible even like 3 months ago?
No, I wasn't thinking that I was going to connect with a nationwide organization in a city 2,000 miles away from where I am in a project that I was working on with someone else. I didn't think about that. I thought we originally had come. We This is what I mean by how ideas evolve.
Hmm.
We originally were going to reach out to the
Hmm.
and the in that area. And we still plan to do that. But Archer Media, we discussed it. We said, really, let's reach out and try to get some podcast guests and get our word out in
Hmm.
the community. There's probably people in the community that are willing to support something like this. And so far, they've been receptive. So this is something that I wouldn't have done on my own, but it's something I'm doing with Archer Media because you've made those connections for me and I'm following up on them.
And I mean, why with it's very clear in talking with you that you love the product. You're a teacher. You've spent 20 plus years teaching. You love the methodology. How has it been from like being mainly a product focused founder and having someone who can bring in that marketing and sales aspect to the existing product? How has that been for you?
It's an important stage
Mhm.
in development, and I can't say it other than that, because the method itself has become a certificate program, a 6-week remote program for teachers to learn this method, right? And that's become the core of what we're getting sponsored. Archer Media is helping put that out there. Now that it's clear what our product is, it's crucial.
Mhm.
It's hard enough to develop a product. Then you articulate it to other people and get them to understand it in their 2 minutes of all they got for you.
Mhm.
That's the what Archer Media is helping with. Getting that in front of people so that I can get better at sharing what our product is as well. I'm working on my pitch because of the connections that Archer Media has done. So it's a synergy.
Mhm. And one of the things you said at the start was around getting that clarity. So a lot of our early calls were more about getting that clarity, and then we started with the execution. So how important has it been? And as you said, the product has evolved. What has those conversations with me and the Archer Media been like for you?
Yeah, they're important because I have to describe to you
Hmm.
what our product is.
Yeah.
That has value in and of itself. when I have to articulate it.
Mm-hmm.
The sign that you're ready is when you can say you understand what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
then you're able to communicate it to others and say the right things so that it connects me to them at the right point and we can flow the communication smoothly. So just the process of me sharing what we're doing with you and the questions you asked and the time you spent, that's important. And
Mm-hmm.
you caught me at a good time. You caught us at a good time. If you would have caught us a year ago, things would look differently here. There might be some confusion, some hesitancy. There isn't as much now
Mm-hmm.
because things are have developed. They've evolved.
That's pretty good. And so uh, now that you're getting all these results, you're connecting to people that you wouldn't even have thought possible. What is it like for you now compared to back then? Your day to day, your clarity as a founder.
Uh it's encouraging because
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting results from something
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not having to put 100% of my time and energy into.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just finding time to do what I need to do to make this project successful with Archer Media. So it's almost as if I feel as if I've become an employee of my own company that's been assigned to a project. And I'm able to just do that job, but then step back and do my founder, CEO stuff where I have to be nimble and ready to work on other projects as well. So it's helped me compartmentalize a project that is going to raise revenue and I can play a role in it without having it be overwhelming.
In fact, one of the on our very first call ever, I remember that you wanted to. This is the exact thing you said. You wanted to wake up every day and feel like you have a job. That there are all these calls coming in. And so that was the first thing you described. You wanted. Do you feel like you're now at that stage after having worked with us for a couple months?
Yeah, that's it. I want to have in my mind checking up on the project with Archer Media. Um, did we get any podcasts scheduled? Do I have anybody who's ready to talk to me?
Hmm.
That's it. That's it. And I know I already know what the project is. I can compartmentalize. I can play my role, and then I can go back and get to my other stuff.
And so you talk about the podcast. How's that strategy and that method worked out for you?
It's been great. The podcast is we started it in January 2020,
Hmm.
and it's a great way to meet people.
Hmm.
It's a great way to convey our product and to meet the founders. And I think it's a compelling way even to learn the method if you're concentrating and you want to understand it. So it's a very good pretext to meet people and hopefully develop relationships with them.
Yeah. And what do you think has been like our role in bringing people to the podcast? Faith?
The communication that you've brought in and you've let people know that this is something that is available to them and you're collaborating with me on reaching out to these people. That's what you've brought in. Without Archer Media, there wouldn't be an active process to try to find people
Hmm.
to learn more about Teach Different in Folsom, California.
So before us, you were actually just you and your brother doing the podcast. Now you have other people coming in, using that as a method to talk to them, find connections, etc.
Exactly. Yep.
And so you worked with us. Now, like, if anybody else is close to working with us, but they have doubts in their mind whether they should do this or not, what's your advice to
Well, talk to me. If you want to hear from someone who's already worked with you, like my advice would um, be clear on what your objective is
them?
and ask Archer Media what they're willing to do to to meet that objective, whatever creative way possible. And then make an investment in it, and then evaluate. Just evaluate them, what it's like working with them. I would think that you'd put something out there that would allow them to practice with you, and then from there the sky's the limit. Just be clear on what it is you want.
Mm,
They will work with you to help figure out how to achieve it.
that's great. And what about like little things like have you seen besides the core deliverables? Have you seen us being willing to do other things, helping you out? What's that been like?
Yes. Yeah. Well, you created some posts for my LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
to try to see if this can support the reach out effort.
Yeah.
Uh, and that could be even something beyond California.
Mm-hmm.
These could be people who want to support maybe another project we have. It depends on who they are, but you were willing to think about reaching out and supporting Teach Different and helping make it successful. You showed an investment in us by doing that.
Great. And lastly, like how has it been like overall strategy wise, our efforts in marketing, our efforts in sales? What have you seen? Is it better than what you used to have before with the agency or just on your own?
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's better. The agency was only focused on setting up weekly roundtables
Mm-hmm.
and bringing 8 to 10 people to the roundtable.
Yeah.
They had a more confined
Yeah.
thing. Uh, I'm already happy with Archer Media because it's reaching out to a specific community, and it's allowing me to get my stakeholders involved on my side
Mhm.
that are in the project with me, because I'm giving them a constant flow of activity where I can keep the project in their head that Steve is doing this. He's reaching out. Be thinking of this. Let's talk. Next time we talk, we have things to talk about. There's activity. This stuff is really, really important for these projects because they take a little bit to set up, and there's a lot of dead space potentially. This is ensuring there's not dead space,
Mm.
that we're constantly reaching out.
Yeah, and that is so important, right? Like,
Very.
yeah, and so you work with us. It's not just on one platform, doing everything that we can do as a partner to help you reach where you want to be. Uh, how likely are you to want to continue to work with us? And for anyone else listening, what's your like level of confidence in us and that you would advise to them about us?
Yeah, I'm very, very confident, and I'm likely to continue working with you because you're a good communicator. The communication is good. And to anyone who's considering you, again, an objective in mind of what you want, and and be very clear and open about what it is. And I would have a lot of faith that what Archer Media will be able to do with you is to understand, number one, what it is that you're trying to do, give input to improve the process, and then be willing to be adaptable and flexible to make sure that it happens. And if we have to bring in other ideas to do that, they're going to do it. But they will deliver on something and show you that they can accomplish something with you, to earn your business.
Hmm. Uh, that's really good point. And on that, have you seen um, on the objective that you have, us bringing in new strategies, bringing in ideas that you didn't consider before, and executing on them to get to that? Have you seen us bringing in new strategies to
Yes, yes, yeah, a LinkedIn strategy.
Mhm.
We've already talked about one, a way to get things out. We've already talked about the potential of a webinar that we
Right.
might offer on LinkedIn. I sent a video to Archer Media that basically introduces our product in a very short format, and that's going to be used to come up with different ways to reach out to people and potentially have another strategy that we'll consider in the future. And it's something that I'm looking forward to talking about, because I think that there are other strategies out there. No one knows what the best strategy is.
Mhm.
Archer Media doesn't, and the company doesn't. We don't necessarily know everything at the outset. But if you're communicating with someone you trust and you got someone thinking about your business, you're going to come up with a well-timed idea, and you're going to be able to implement it quickly with
Mhm.
Archer Media and evaluate it. And
Mhm.
that's what you want as a business. You want to be able to find that magic formula, because then you just scale it out, and that's where you get massive success. So I'm looking forward to learning what that is with our company, and that's what I would advise any other company to keep in mind when you get in with an Archer Media, because you're taking the partnership approach. You're actually getting another part of your brain to think about these types of things together to find the magic formula.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming here, talking about your experience. Uh,
Yeah, thank you.
it's been great working with you.
Great, thanks.